It's 3 a.m. and you're wide awake again. You've got a crucial budget meeting at 9 a.m. and a strategic decision to make before noon. You know sleep matters for clear thinking, but during perimenopause, consistently good sleep can feel like a distant memory. You need to perform at your best tomorrow, regardless of how fragmented your sleep is tonight. Hi, I'm Dr. Jennifer Churchill. I've spent the last 20 years helping business executives navigate these challenges. My clients get profound results because I provide real solutions that actually work in the real world. And today I'm giving you a simple step-by-step plan to maintain sharp decision-making during perimenopause. Specifically, how to protect your judgment when your sleep is regularly disrupted. Here's what's really happening. During perimenopause, hormonal fluctuations directly disrupt your sleep architecture, particularly reducing deep sleep. This isn't a matter of, quote, needing better sleep hygiene. It's a biological reality that requires a different approach entirely. A comprehensive study from the Sleep Research Society measured the sleep patterns of 1,100 women during perimenopause and found a 40 to 60% reduction in slow wave deep sleep, the exact phase necessary for prefrontal cortex restoration. And researchers documented that this disruption occurs even with perfect sleep hygiene, as it's driven by hormonal shifts that directly affect sleep-regulating brain centers. The biggest problem is that sleep disruption affects the exact brain functions you need most as an executive: judgment, emotional regulation, and the ability to weigh complex factors. But just get more sleep, in quotes, isn't helpful advice when your hormones have other plans. What you need isn't another sleep tracker or a lavender pillow spray, although that's very nice. You need a concrete plan to protect your decision quality despite possible inconsistent sleep. So let's talk about 3 ways sleep disruption actually affects your leadership. Your ability to assess risk and long-term consequences becomes less reliable. Your emotions have stronger influence on your decisions than usual. And lastly, you can't hold as many factors in mind at once when analyzing complex situations. So here's my simple 3-part clear thinking when tired protocol that you can start using today. The first part is decision timing optimization. Here's exactly what to do. Track your mental clarity for 1 week using this simple method. You can either create a small pocket notebook or a note in your phone, and set a timer to go off every 2 hours during your workday at 9 a.m., 11 a.m., 1 p.m., 3 p.m., and 5 p.m. When it rings, rate your mental clarity from 1 to 10, 10 being your sharpest. And note how much sleep you got the night before. After 1 week, identify your consistently highest rated windows, and then immediately reschedule your decision-making to align with these windows. This may not always be possible when other people's schedules need to be considered, but it always helps to have the conversation of what could be possible before assuming that you can't move some specific meetings. And then move your most consequential decisions to your peak clarity times. So for one-on-one meetings, as an example, where decisions are needed, just suggest times that align with your best windows. And then schedule routine, low judgment tasks during identified fog periods. And then create a decision categorization system. You can do this in the same notebook or in a document on your computer. And label upcoming decisions as critical, which could be major financial, personnel, strategic choices, and then label other decisions as important. These are significant, but not irreversible. And then label other decisions as routine, which could be regular operational choices. And then only make critical decisions during your peak clarity windows. One chief financial officer I work with discovered her peak clarity consistently occurs between 10 and 11 a.m., regardless of her sleep quality. She now schedules all financial approvals and strategic decisions exclusively during this window, which results in her making significantly better outcomes and fewer decision regrets. Part 2 of the Clear Thinking When Tired protocol is the Decision Safeguard Checklist. For important decisions when you're feeling sleep deprived, create a simple checklist. You could keep it on a card in your desk or in your wallet and purse, or just a note on your phone. And before making any significant decisions, ask yourself these questions. What would I regret about this decision a year from now? And what's the worst outcome? And can we absorb it? And who agrees with this approach and why? And how would I feel about this if it appeared on the front of the Wall Street Journal? Lastly, what additional information would make me more confident? And then you can implement the 2-perspective rule. So for every significant decision when sleep deprived, deliberately consider the following. What's the most conservative approach? And what's the most aggressive approach? And ask yourself, where between these two would I land if I were well rested? And default just slightly towards the one that is more on the conservative side when you're feeling uncertain. And honestly, the sleep on it rule is a rule for a reason. So use it judiciously. If a decision truly can wait 24 hours and you've had poor sleep, defer it. When deferring, set a specific time for when you're typically clearest. And say specifically, I want to give this the consideration it deserves. I'll have a decision for you tomorrow at 10 a.m. These structured approaches activate your prefrontal cortex, offsetting the negative effects of poor sleep on decision quality. And one executive told me, in quotes, the decision safeguard questions have saved me from at least 3 major mistakes during periods of terrible sleep. These do work. They just require routine and implementing them. And part 3 of the Clear Thinking When Tired protocol is the strategic decision support system. This includes other people. So you want to create allies who support your decision quality. So what you could potentially do is identify 2 to 3 trusted colleagues with complementary thinking styles. As an example, you want to choose someone more conservative than you. Then you potentially could choose someone more innovative than you, and then choose someone with strong analytical skills. And you could, when appropriate, and the context will determine which person you want to rely on, you could have this direct conversation with this person. I value your thinking. During times when I might not be at my cognitive best, would you be willing to be a thought partner on important decisions? I would love to do the same for you. You're really engaging in a collaborative, kind of like very vulnerable, trust building dynamic with this individual. And then you can go on further by saying, I'm not asking you to make the decisions for me, but just to have you help me ensure I'm considering all angles. I just really value your perspective. And then when facing an important decision after poor sleep, you could use this process. Share your initial thinking clearly with the individual and ask specifically, what factors might I be overlooking? And then ask, if you were in my position, what would you give pause to about this direction? And listen without defensiveness. Thank them for their input, regardless of whether you change your decision. And this isn't about undermining your authority. It's really about creating a decision support system that protects both you and the organization from occasional cognitive lapses due to poor sleep. In one CEO I worked with created a decision partner arrangement with her chief operating officer and chief financial officer. This simple alliance prevented several potentially costly errors during a period of severe sleep disruption, while actually at the same time strengthening their working relationships. So let's quickly recap what you can start doing today when you're really tired and you need to look at different angles. Use the 5-question decision safeguard checklist, especially for all the significant choices. Consistent leadership presence, when your energy levels become unpredictable. So, how do you pinpoint exactly which aspects of perimenopause are impacting your unique leadership profile the most right now, and which strategies will give you the quickest wins? To help you do just that, I created the Executive Perimenopause Performance Assessment. It's completely free and designed specifically for leaders like you. Taking this brief assessment will help you identify your most significant perimenopause-related leadership challenges and discover which protocols and episodes in this mastery series will be most immediately beneficial for you. And you can find the link to take the free executive performance assessment right now in the description below. Use your results strategically to navigate this series. Additionally, if you want to explore more about your peak windows, I've also included a link in the description to access my energy mapping call as an additional resource. Remember, this transition does not diminish your capacity. It's an opportunity to adapt and lead with even greater effectiveness. So take the assessment today and get started. Remember, it's not about sleeping perfectly. It's about deciding wisely, regardless of how you slept.